Hello, sir. Good evening. Adiga, sir.
ನಮಸ್ತೆ.
ನಮಸ್ತೆ, ಆಂಟನಿ PST ಇಂದ.
ಸರ್
ಸರ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 2 ನಿಮಿಷ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್.
That's fine. It's not an issue, sir. It's not an issue.
ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ
Yeah.
ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್.
Okay.
ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ನನಗೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ ಅಂತ ಮನಸ್ಸಿದೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಇದೆ.
ಅಚ್ಚಾ. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. It's carry on.
ಸಿದ್ದೇಗೌಡರು ಬಂದ್ರ ಸರ್?
Sorry? ಸಿದ್ದೇಗೌಡರು ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರ ಅವಾಗ? ಅದೇ ಒಂದು ಟ್ರಯಲ್ ಎಂಡ್ ನೋಡೋಣ ಅಂತ.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ
ಸರ್. ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರ್.
ಸರ್ ನಮಸ್ತೆ. ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ನಾನು ನೋಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಾವು ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನಾಟ್ ಮೆಟ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್. ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಫೈನ್ 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 ಫೈನ್.
ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ನೋಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನನ್ನ 9ನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ನೆನಪತ್ತು.
ಯಾವ್ದಂದ್ರಿ?
9ನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ನಂದು
ಹಾ
ನೆನಪು ಬಂತು ಅಂತ.
ಅಚ್ಚಾ. Okay. ಅಲ್ಲ, in present scenario, this is to be reminded for the people that life is precious ಅಂತ.
ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಫೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಏಪ್ರಿಲ್ 10ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು
ಹಾ ಸರ್.
ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಬಾವಿ ಕಟ್ಟೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೂತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಾವಿಗಾರನು ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗೋಣ ಅಂತ.
ಎರಡು ಆ ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್ ಎರಡು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಬಿಡಿ. ಬಾವಿ ಹಾರೋದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಸೊ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಸರ್?
ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ. ಗ್ರೇಟ್.
ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ದ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಮಿತ್ರರಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ನನ್ನ ಕಚೇರಿಯ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಚೇರಿ ಮಿತ್ರರಿಗೂ ಸ್ವಾಗತ ಬಯಸ್ತಾ ಇಂದಿನ ಪ್ರತಿಭಾ ಶೋಧನಾ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಆರಂಭಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗುಡ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್, ನಮಸ್ತೆ. ಇಂದಿನ ವಿಷಯ ಬಂದು ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ಕಾಲಕ್ಕೆ ಅನಿವಾರ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಆದಷ್ಟು ಯಂಗ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಾಲ್ಯದಲ್ಲೇ ಆತ್ಮಹತ್ಯೆ ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ನಿತರ ಕಾನೂನು ಬಾಹಿರ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡೋದೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ. ಲೈಫ್ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಷಿಯಸ್, ಜೀವನ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಮಂಜುನಾಥ ಅಡಿಗ ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರ ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲವನ್ನ, ಅವರ ವಿಚಾರಧಾರೆಗಳನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಹಂಚಲು ಅವರು ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಮಾತು ಕಿರುಪರಿಚಯವನ್ನು ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಲು ತಮ್ಮ ಅನುಮತಿಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಸರ್. ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್ ಸರ್.
ಪ್ಲೀಸ್.
ಸೊ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್ ಅಡಿಗ ಅವರು ತಮ್ಮ MD ಅನ್ನು ಆಯುರ್ವೇದ ಕಾಯ ಚಿಕಿತ್ಸಾ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಂದ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ BNM ರೂರಲ್ ಆಯುರ್ವೇದಿಕ್ ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಬಿಜಾಪುರ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಪಡೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸುಮಾರು ಇಂದಿಗೆ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು 14-15 ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಕಾರ್ಯ ಸೇವೆಯಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಂತ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಈ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ತುಂಬಷ್ಟು ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಟಾಕ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ವಿವಿಧ ರೇಡಿಯೋಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಟಾಕ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಲೈವ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರೀ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡೆಡ್ ಟಾಕ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಲೈವ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿಗೂ ಉತ್ತರವನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದು ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜಿಂಗ್ ದ ಡಿಸೀಸ್ ಬೈ ಹೋಮ್ ರೆಮಿಡೀಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪಥ್ಯ ಅಂಡ್ ಅಪಥ್ಯ. ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನವರು ನಾವು ಜನರಲ್ ಮೆಡಿಸಿನ್ ಗಿಂತ ಮನೆ ಮದ್ದು ಉತ್ತಮ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಮನೆ ಮದ್ದನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸಬಹುದು ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೂ ಅವರು ಅನೇಕ ಸಲಹೆಗಳನ್ನು ಅನೇಕರಿಗೆ ನೀಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅನೇಕ ರೀತಿಯಂತ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸುಮಾರು 24ಕ್ಕೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸೆಮಿನಾರ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದು ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ಅವರ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ತಗೊಳಕ್ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ಅವರು ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ಅವರು ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಯ ಚಿಕಿತ್ಸಾ ಶ್ರೀ ಕಾಲಭೈರೇಶ್ವರ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಆಯುರ್ವೇದ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ ವಿಜಯನಗರ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರ್ಯ ತಮ್ಮ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ನೀಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಷ್ಟು ಗಿರಿಜ ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆಯನ್ನು ನೀಡುತ್ತಾ ಅದರ ಜೊತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಮತ್ತು ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಯ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರಾದಂತಹ ಎಸ್ ಅಯ್ಯಪ್ಪನ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕಾರ್ಯನಿರ್ವಾಹಕ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಯಾದಂತಹ ಎನ್ ರಮೇಶ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸುತ್ತಾ, ಸರ್ ಮುಂದಿನ 1 ಗಂಟೆಗಳ ಕಾಲಾವಕಾಶವನ್ನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟಾಕ್ ಅನ್ನು ಮುಂದುವರಿಸಬೇಕಾಗಿ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್ ಸರ್.
ತುಂಬಾ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ನನ್ನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸಿಕೊಟ್ಟದಕ್ಕೆ. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ವಿಷಯ ಸರ್ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗೆ ಲೈಫ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಷಿಯಸ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂತ ಕಾಂಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮತ್ತು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಎರಡು ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ನನ್ನ ನೆರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಇದು ಈ ಲೈಫ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಷಿಯಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ವರ್ಡ್ ವಿಚ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಫ್ಯಾಸಿನೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಲಿಸನ್. But the content is not directly related to a life is precious. Rather, it is a conclusory statement. What have been mentioned is a conclusory statement as life is precious. ಇದು ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಷನ್ ಬರುವಂತ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾನು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಹೆಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಮುಂದೆ ಒಂದ್ ಎರಡರಷ್ಟು ಆಶ್ಚರ್ಯಕರ ಚಿಹ್ನೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂತ ಕಾಂಪೊನೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ ಈ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. Why it is being mentioned is of probably the most of we people don't feel that the life is precious. So probably once we are being get ill, or once we are being at the level of an hospital, at that moment we feel that the life is being precious as such. So that is the reason I just made the conclusive statement as my presentation title itself. We'll be going further as such. Probably I'll be limiting my ideologies for about 50 minutes maximum of. I prefer to have a good amount of questions with respect to the health rather than ill health, because health is important, and probably if you've been knowing about the health better, or if you've been having a health better, probably the knowing about the ill health is getting limited. Right? So going further as such, the life is about, as you've been knowing, it is about a day, months and years. So why this statement is of, commonly we see the life as a whole, where a person has lived for about 100 years or 70 years, or somewhere around 80 years as such. But it is not happened at this stage. It has happened by day. So that is why life is about a day, month and year, where each and every component matters a lot. For an example, as you've been stepping up to a particular temple on in steps, which is somewhere around 300 steps, once you reach the 300 step, once you reach the entrance of the shrine, you feel the pleasure of, oh God, I reached your place. This was the feel what we usually get. But it is not happened at a stage where one by one steps are being taken up, where the first step is also been important, and the 299th step is also been important, because we reach the 300 step. So every step, the being at that step also matters a lot. That is why the life is not about as a whole, rather each and everything what we at this moment, by means of a day, months and in together and years, which cumulatively becomes as a whole life itself. So my intention of putting this slide is of, every day or in every moment of in life is been very vital, and how you lead and how you live matters a lot, which will be a cumulative, or it will be a contributory for the next succeeding days and next succeeding months and years. Going further, okay, so this is about the overall component, what commonly we experience as life is about money, obviously, because the artha as a context, as you know that the dharma, artha, kama and moksha, which are the 4 dimensions of a life, where the the artha is in one real terms is called as a money, and the next one as a joy, and for some people it may be, yes, most of the times it may be of a misery, or some people it is about journey. That is why ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಕೋಶವನ್ನ ಓದಬೇಕು, ದೇಶವನ್ನ ಸುತ್ತಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ದೇಶವನ್ನ ಸುತ್ತಿದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ಗಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ದೇಶ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ದೇಶದಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗುವಂಥದ್ದಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಂತದಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪ್ರಾಂತಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗುವಂಥದ್ದು ಸಮೇತನು ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ವೈ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದಿ ಲೈಫ್ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದಿ ಫುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ದೇ ಫಾಲೋ, ದಿ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಪೀಪಲ್, what they have been incorporated. For an example, the people, now it is not applicable actually. If you're going to observe the people who are been living in a Punjab belt, they are being, most of them are being 6 feet, and but in Karnataka as well, if you have been getting 6 feet height guy, then probably we see with surprise. But in an Punjab as a belt, where the 6 feet is a commonest component, and they will be having a very well built body, but when compared to we people, they have been very good at. So some particular area being defined with a particular type of and characteristic features also to be known, and the next one as an happy. So life is about all these mixture, Navratna Kurma as such, or Navratna mixture as such, where all the plus and minus, and obviously the life cannot be as such with respect to only positivity. There need to be a relevancy of a negativity. We'll be dealing that part in due course of time. Okay, going further, what I'm telling is of what we have been doing. I'm just telling about the topics or the information, how the life is being so precious in nature, and what are the components which are being interfering these precious things to be get lost up. So this is a generalized overall a lifestyle of a particular person. I just made a random component. What commonly we do in a day. So somewhere around 6 to 7, 8, 9, because I don't know how, because it is different for different peoples at what time they will be waking up. So 6, 7, 8, 9, somewhere around, because I have seen the people, this statement of component. After coming to Bangalore, I have seen people have been waking at around 9 o'clock also. So very surprising part. So 6 to 9 as getting from in bed, 78 somewhere around bed coffee and a tea and water, and we'll brush it up and we'll have a bath. Somewhere around 9 o'clock, we'll be having a breakfast or a brunch. Some people call as a brunch. That has been taken. So mostly the salads or the so-called bread which is being used, brown bread as a context. And we'll be leaving for an activity where somewhere around 9 around, I'm telling, where it can be of a school or it can be of a college or it can be of a working place like me. And somewhere around 10 to 10, 15, and a small coffee or in tea. Sometimes some people who are been accustomed to in cigars, they will be having a cigar. And if I'm going to tell at the level of an IT professionals, they will be having a cup of what you call as an almond, or it can be of an cashew, are being apricot as a context, walnut as a context. All these things are being kept at a bowl, and that is being used. And somewhere around 1 to 2, it will be a lunch, or maybe carried from at home, and at the level of a canteen at the level of working place. 2 to 5, it can be of work, it can be of day sleep for a woman who has been working at home. And somewhere around 6 o'clock, it can be of somewhere around, it is around the taking of a snacks as a context, and around tea or a coffee. Some people will be having an attitude of taking a tea. I'm a bit surprised, around 8 o'clock in the night also. And 9 to 11 dinner, and obviously the watching TV as such, and somewhere around 11 to 12 of the working on a computer, or it can be of a continuous usage of a mobile, and somewhere around 12 o'clock. This is what the overall schedule, what I've been telling us. These are all the consequences. So the lifestyle what we have been adopted at this moment, it is not only the lifestyle, it is about the food habits what we've been practicing. These are all the very significant contributing factor as a physical illness, stress as an anxiety, obesity, diabetes mellitus, or an hypertension, gastritis, menstrual abnormality, which is a very striking point at this moment. Most of the females used to have these issues, infertility in due course of time. At this moment, my concern is with respect to health is diabetes mellitus. Obviously, the hypertension is way back been incorporated in our life, but the diabetes mellitus has been very striking rate. What I've been seeing in an hospital. So somewhere around the aged around 30, 35 years of a men used to come with the presentation of a high level of sugar, and most of them are being obese. And if you've been observing the picture, where the 20% of the children and the 65% of the adults are being overweight. So there are so many factors are been contributing. Probably in due course of time, we will be standing second in relevance to the diabetes mellitus next to China, because we are been in very early to have the highest level of incidence of diabetes mellitus. With respect to health issues, it is a most concern point what I've been feeling at this moment. Okay, going further, So what we can do, or what we're supposed to do, is of the first component starts from a morning time. So it has been mentioned as an the Brahmi Muhurta. So most of the times we don't know at what time we're supposed to be waking up. I will be telling as a due course of time what we're supposed to do and what is the scientific rationality at the level of in simplest form. Uh, the person supposed to be waking at the level of in morning time as in Brahmi Muhurta. What exactly the Brahmi Muhurta, which has been told at the level of Ayurveda? He tells that Brahmi Muhurte Uttishte Swasto Raksharta Mayusha. So Swastha, or a person who has been having an health, who is already having an health, who want to promote the health, Ayusha, who want to have an expanded lifespan, he has to wake up in the morning time. So it is being mentioned as in Brahmi Muhurta. So it can be understood in two ways. One is Brahma and another one is of Brahmi. So Brahma here refers to one who is been responsible for the Srishti. So that is what the context. Brahmi as a Brahma is for an intellectual. Brahma is for Srishti, what it's been doing. So somewhere, if we have been waking up at that moment, so maybe we'll be getting a good amount of an intellectual, which is a need of our. I'm not telling about the just a defined intelligence. I'm telling about an undefined intelligence also. Brahmi as a word, it is in a plant, it is being named as an Centella asiatica. It is in Kannada, it is being called as in South Kannada, it is being called as an Timare, or it can be called as an Vandelaganthan or Balagi. We will be telling. So it is being used for intelligence. It is being used for promoting the intellectual. In children's, they used to give this context. Hope you'll be knowing this one. So Brahmi Muhurta, or a Muhurta which is being where we have been waking up at that time, it will go into promote the intelligence. That is what the context. So somewhere the time will be 6 a.m. to 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. It is about the knowledge, as I've been told, Brahma or Brahmi as a context. Why I have been mentioned as 4 to 6 a.m. So here, the depending upon the region, the sun rays and sunset is been going to happen. So what we have to do is what exactly the time is. The sun rays with respect to geographical area, for an example, if it is of a Bangalore or if it can be from another place, slight changes will be there. In a Google, if you're going to search it, you will get in sunrise and sunset time. Sun rays, from the sun rays around 45 minutes early, being named as a Brahmi Muhurta. So this is what the context, this is the time we are supposed to be waking up. What is the rationality? What is the importance is of a higher concentration of an electromagnetic charges which are being abundantly available at that time. You may be knowing about ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ in a ಹಳಬರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಾಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅಶ್ವತ್ಥದ ಮರದ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಸೂರ್ಯ ಉದಯಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಎದ್ದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸುತ್ತ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು. So it is a part of rituals. So you'll be getting a baby. If you want to have a baby, you make this context. Here, what a vriksha or an ashwatha, what it's been there, and the time also makes a very significant role in an unexplained infertility. So that works very significantly. So this is what the context over here. Higher concentration of an electromagnetic charges, which influences the body cells. Obviously, the pleasantness of minds, which is being seen, and the availability of the nascent oxygen. So the pure oxygen is an inevitable because it's also been named as prana. So prana has been very, very important. We take the prana through the nose. So the good amount of prana, good amount of life. Prana being named as life itself. So obviously the nascent oxygen has been abundantly available. That is the which contributes the highest level of health. Going further, if you have been seeing with respect to the modern perspective, what happens at the level of Brahmi Muhurta? See, the Brahmi Muhurta is a one where the in the studies it has been observed that the most of the times the heart attacks are being seen at the early morning. That is why, because the cardiac arrhythmias are being very significantly seen. There will be some amount of fluctuations being seen at the level of an heart rate during the morning time, early morning. So to avoid that situations, to avoid that so-called an expression, a misexpression, probably the encouragement of waking up in that moment was being told. So you're being, it is not an easy task to wake up at the early morning. I know that one. My grandma used to tell that Kali Lakshmi used to come and rub your leg. That is, you feel very good sleep as it. It is true also, because it is not an easy task. You are being waking up from a very deep sleep, and at that time the heart is being little misfluctuating in nature. Probably to avoid that one, the so-called Brahmin Mukta may be introduced with respect to scientific background. But in the context of Ayurveda, it has been significantly mentioned that Swasto Rakshartam Ayusha. Okay, going further, once you have been woke up, it is being mentioned that the Shaucha Karma, it's a part of Dinacharya. Dinacharya here refers to the daily activities. So Shaucha Karma is been a very, very important factor,
Okay, okay.
what I feel. Am I audible, sir?
ಸರ್ 1 minute ಸರ್, ಇದು ನಿಮ್ದು ಇದು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಇರವಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಅದು ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ಸ್
ಯಾವುದು
ಚೇಂಜ್
ಚೇಂಜ್
ಆಗಿದೆ.
ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ?
ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. The very first slide is there, sir. Life is precious.
Oh, it is.
ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇದೆ ಸರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ.
Oh my goodness, 1 second. Can I just rejoin once again?
Yes, sir.
Only 1 second. I'm not able to change.
Okay, sir. Take care.
I just rejoin once again as such.
Yes,
1
sir.
second. Change ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? Sorry.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್, ಏನ್ ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಪ್ಲೀಸ್.
1 second. Now it is been.
No, sir.
Can I just share this slide for you as such?
1 minute, sir. 1 minute, sir.
Sir, is it audible?
Sir, it is audible.
But I'm just.
Sir, please try to.
No, I'm just. 1 second.
Please try to change the slides, sir, now.
1 second. Now?
Yes, sir. It is changing, sir.
It's changing, ಅಲ್ಲ?
Yes, sir.
Fine.
Shaucha Karma, reality.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
great. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry about the context. Okay. Hope you've been understood the description what I've been telling as such. The Brahmi Murta, what it's been told. The next context as a description. It is often Shaucha Karma here refers to the cleansing or the evacuation of Mala Mutra Tyaga. That is what the context. I still remember there was one shloka which will be running, telling as the Prabhate Kara Darshanam as a one shloka, where the Kara was been to be viewed as such. But I've just modulated. You need to pardon me. Prabhate Mala Darshanam as a one need to be taken into account. That means you have to pass the motion. So once you woke up, that is the real sign of the healthiness. So the Shaucha karma is a very, very important part. As per most of the times, if a person is not passing the motion in the morning, it's okay. No, it's definitely not okay. Where it is in one context, it is one of the context where been committed that yes, the person has to pass the motion. If it is been not done, then the probably it cannot be taken as the part of health itself. And that is why, because the food what it's been taken is being not properly digested. That is why you're not passing. If you're going to observe, the most of we people are been having this experience of not passing the motion in the morning. Once we woke up, we need something to have, either the hot coffee, or it can be of a lemon tea, or it can be of an something which is being warm water. So that should not be a rule. Actually, as per the description, we supposed to be passing the motion the next ones woke up in the Brahmi Muhurta. Even yes, if it has been not done, I can tell some suggestions. Some activities like Pavana Muktasana, you can search it out in Google. Pavana Muktasana is been fine to follow. Having of a little warm water is been fine, so that a small walk at the level of home, which should induce the sensation for the passing the motion. Okay, the next statement is of Western toilets are being comfortable when compared to the Indian toilets. So commonly we have an ideology that the what is in the Western toilets are being better, and what is in Indian toilets are being what is in not that much comfortable as such. But let me come at one point of view. So Indian toilets are the best possible way to evacuate the stool which has been got struck at the level of an intestine. Uh, See, the thing is of we have an idea. The most of the times now in what we have been doing is in every home the so-called Indian toilets are been abolished with an intention or with the thought that the people may have an what says joint pain, even though they don't have a joint pain. They prefer to go for a Western toilet. That is not advocated. Rather, the people who have been having a difficulty for sitting in an Indian toilet, yes, for them it has been fine, no problem. Uh, but most of the times the Indian toilets are being preferred. What is the realities of the makes the elimination of the stool faster, easier, more complete, prevent the fecal stagnation, and it is a prime factor for a colon cancer and appendicitis and the inflammatory bowel disease. That means the Western toilet, what it's been there, it tends to cause this part. I'm not telling that the Western toilet will going to cause the colon cancer or an appendicitis. It's not true, but possibilities are being there, and there will not be an incomplete there will be an incomplete evacuation when it is being used as a Western toilet when compared to the Indian toilet. Even the pregnant women are also being encouraged to use the what you call as the Indian toilet, because the squatting position will go into what is in what is and stretches the pelvic muscles, to which induces the normal labor. But unfortunately, nowadays nobody prefer to have an what you call as a normal labor. They will go for a C-section and all these contexts. That is another part. But another point I supposed to be telling, that is in the Shastra it has been mentioned, or in Ayurveda it has been mentioned, that squatting for a longer duration, or that is in Kukutasana, it has been named as what we have been sitting in an Indian style, is being named as Kukutasana. So if the person sits for a longer duration in a Kukutasana, it causes the arshas. Arshas here refers to the piles as an. So that is to be taken care. The person should not be sitting for a longer duration in that squatting position. But to evacuate, the squatting position is the best and best possible component. Okay. So yes, that I told the next slide also. For the pregnant women, squatting avoids the pressure on the uterus. Daily squatting helps the natural delivery, which has a significant roles with respect to the health. And as the stool and the urines are the end product of the food, and which is not having any nutritional values, it has to be cleared off by morning itself. So some people will be coming with a comment telling that, so with great difficulty we pass the motion in the evening time, once in 2 days, once in 3 days. If it has been happening, you have to take care of that context. Some people will comment that telling that there is a significant constipation. So if you've been having a significant constipation, there is some problem. You're not giving some amount of moistness or you're not taking a good amount of moistness in the food. That is why you are experiencing the constipation in the next day. So the major sign of health to be taken into an account is passing of a motion. If it has been not happening, one has to work out to clear up that one by considering what is the problem, what is the reason the person is, I'm not getting the passed out in the next day morning itself. Okay. The next context, as per the description, it is an dinacharya. It is an everyday we supposed to be doing, but unfortunately nobody does this one. So it is been named as Abhyanga. So Abhyanga here refers to the oil application or all over the body. But most of we people don't do this context. It is a daily wages to be done in nature. So oil application, commonly we understand that the oil application is merely a time killing in nature. We have to work hard to remove the oil. Clothes becomes oily as such. Yes, and it will be a sneak. What is an? It will be oily as such as a description. So it is an dinacharya. It should be done daily basis. At least if you have been not able to do that one, oil application for the skin is been very vital. So you may tell that nowadays the people have prefer to go for a massage 1 day, 2 days, or spa as a context, but that is not relevant actually. Uh, uh, 1 day and or 2 days. So it is to be done on a daily basis. You can apply for yourself only, which has a significant role in promoting the physical health and the mental health. Believe me, if you've been going to do this activity at least once in 3 days, I guarantee that within 45 days, you will be a different person with respect to mind and body. That is a guaranteed component. Nobody gives guarantee at the level of health. I'm giving that one. That is why, because it is an experience and it is about the comment about the people who have been experienced and they have written on the literatures in the form of an Ayurveda. So which oil? Which oil here refers to the tila taila, or it can be of a sesame oil, or it can be of a gingerly oil. Is been a best option for an application. You can apply all over the body except the face and head. And for application only, it will take somewhere around 15 to 20 minutes, and you just have a hot water bath. That's it. So that's more than enough. It is not mandated that you have to do a significant massage in this particular rotation or pattern only. That is not being applicable to be done. That is, it has been mentioned that Abhyangam achare nityam sa jara shramavataha. Jara, if you want to avoid the jara, old age expression. If I mean the beneficiaries, what we've been who have been listening over here, I think there have been second PUC or the PU people. And if you've been started doing now itself, you can avoid the jara or jara. Jara here refers to the aged expression, aged component. Age related symptoms can be promoted, can be postponed. I'm not telling that you cannot completely avoid. Jara is an swabhavika, which is we becomes old age gradually. It has to be, as if you've been wearing an shirts and pants, new pant, for a longer duration, on and off. After some duration, its buttons becomes loose, the color becomes faded off. It is a commonest component what it's been there. So which applies for the body also. But you can postpone that one. Shramavataha, Shrama, that is, Shrama is a tiredness which is being experienced, and the Vata guna of the body. And he also tells that the person will be having a very good sleep. So Dushti Prasad, so the person will be having a very right drushti. Drushti here refers to the eye vision, and the swapna, the right sleep, also been induced with an abhyanga. So I guarantee the component that once in 3 days, do this activity, 45 days, a significant leap with respect to the mind and this body itself. That is what the part of context. The next one, as after applying an oil, you're supposed to doing in some vyayama over here. Vyayama as a context is an exercise being commonly understood. So in the context of an Vyayama, it has been commonly we understand that working hard in a gym is very essential. It's in common with most of people are being which is in feel that going for a gym is been inevitable. But in recent days, some of the events been happened with respect to the film industry and all this context. So people are been now fearing to go to the gym. But my comment is of, as per the Shastra, the gym is not at all being told, very frankly. Vyayama as a word is being mentioned, that is an activity which is going to give an ayama, or which is going to give a stretching component for all the angas, ayama for the all the body parts. So that is what the Vyayama. So in a simple term, what I've been telling is of Vyayama is a context where a respiratory rate and the heart rate being increased up. That is what the context, what I believe. So you can do the brisk walking, or you can do a simple exercise. So where the heart rate and the respiratory rate is being increased up as such. So going further, so ideal methodology is of the Surya Namaskaram and the, as you know, this one is the playing as such. But I still have a little doubt with respect to the which is the running as such, because some people they have in running, which is not advocated. Why? Because see the running is being defined for the four-legged animal. Four-legged animals are being designed for running. We are not. We are two-legged animals. We are being not designed for running. Rather, we are being designed for walking. So always the walking is been better option. A brisk walk followed by a normal walk is been a good with a simple breathing technique and the so-called Surya Namaskara will be an integral part of a Vyayama, not the gym. Okay, this Snana as a context, which is our thinking is of yes, hot water bath is been good and any bathing soap can be used, and it is not a daily procedure. Some people opine that it is not a daily procedure as such. But hot water, when it comes to hot water, yes, it should not at least the if you've been using the water, see that it should not be very warm in nature, but the same water should not be used on the head, because commonly what we do is when we have been head bath, the same temperature what we've been using on a body, the same thing is being used on the head also, but that should not be done as per the description, because he tells that Taineva tu uttamangasya, Taineva, same that temperature or what is in water. Uttamanga here refers to the head. Balahrut is the degradation of what? Kesha Chakshusha, the hair fall and the eye. The strength of the Kesha and the so-called Chakshu will going to be hampered if you are using a very significant hot water. So that is why hot water should not be what is significantly used on head. Yes, when it comes to any bathing soap, it cannot be advocated. A particular TFM level to be taken into account. On that basis, the soap can be used. And definitely it is a daily procedure. It cannot be done. Some people used to do this contact for once in 2 days or 3 days. So it is to be done as a part and parcel of life. Okay, the breakfast as a context. Okay, so when it comes to a breakfast, daily breakfast is not mandatory. Some people, they vomit or they avoid the breakfast itself. The word itself tells that breakfast. So fast, the breaking of fast is called as a breakfast. So obviously one should not miss the breakfast. That is the first component. And they should be having a hunger. If you've been having a right proper passage of motion, and if you've been hunger is been proper, obviously you will be getting an hunger at the morning time. And some, yes, as a part of as a menu of in the breakfast, people used to have an what you call as an salads or the so-called brown bread and the what you call as an the slices. So sprouted grains also being used. Jam and the rice which is being prepared in the night time, and same which has been remnant, and same thing is being used. So that should not be used at any cost, because the overnight kept the rice which is being used in the next day morning will going to vitiate almost all the doshas of body. And it is one of the reason, I'll be just telling, it is one of the reason to have an epileptic attack. For an epilepsy, it is one of the contributing factor. I'm not telling that taking all the people who are been taking, definitely they end up with an epilepsy. No, but it is possible to have an epilepsy as a context. So what to be taken as an, it should be light, it should be delicious, and definitely it should be hot in nature. It has been mentioned that as the light diet, that is Ushna Vashmiyat, Snigdha Vashmiyat. It should be Ushna and Snigdha. Snigdha is, it should be tinged with an so-called ghee. And obviously the in the morning time, the hunger will be less in nature. So you are just breaking the fast. That is what the context. The quantity wise, it is being got limited. Okay, so going further as such, the diet is a source of life force, strength, and immunity. So until unless the digestive power is being proper, you cannot expect to have the right health itself. And yeah, so what I've been suggesting is of let your food be as your medicine rather than taking of medicine. So food and activity togetherly compromises in turn results at the level of disease and health, because the right health can be expected with the right form of an activity, because if you've been doing a high level of an exercise also, that will be problematic in nature. If you've been not at all taking the food, if you've been getting taking a very heavy diet also, it is problematic in nature. So you need to be very careful with respect to food and activity. So why food? Change in food is the change in the balance of the body itself. And see, the food, it has been, if you've been going to see the context as Anna, Anna as a word, in some temples it has been mentioned, that is where the food has been prepared. It has been mentioned as Anna Brahma. So Anna Brahma as a word has been mentioned. That is nothing but the food is responsible for the Srishti. It is what food we take, by that one we are being there. So this body is may not happened in one day. It is an accumulated component. By means of what? By means of a specific type of in food. What is it's been done. And when it comes to a mind, it is also been accumulated in nature. So wherein the type of in mindsets or the emotions what we've been carrying all going to be makes as mind of ours. So it is very, very important. Yad bhavam tad bhavati as a description. So what we take, by that what we are. So that is why the right form of a food is been very inevitable for you to have a right health. So going further, uh, so there are some components, some of the foods which are been going to interact with an health issues. There is a consumed grapefruit use of a liver pathway as in many medicaments for the digested, I would say, and including those that have treat hypertension and allergies. Smoked fish, certain aged meats and cheeses and the red wine interact with some antidepressant drugs. So if the person is taking antidepressant drugs, these food materials may intervene. Food-to-food interaction has unwanted side effects of caused inside the human body when two or more types of foods are consumed together. Like the unripe green tomatoes contains a huge amount of insulin, which may interact with what is the alcohol. Sometimes the alcohol is being taken along with the green unripe tomatoes, which may cause some problem in due course of time. What I'm telling is food-to-food interactions. So the commonly understood as milk with curd should not be done, should not be taken at any cost. Fruits with milk, milkshakes is definitely is an incompatible food in nature that should not be taken as such. Sometimes, and if I've been not wrong, in Kolkata and if I've been not wrong at the level of Kerala, they will be preparing some type of food materials by the Kshira Vikriti, some that is by adding some sakra, or sakra here refers to the buttermilk. So it's been named as Purusheri as such. So that type of food, I'm not telling in Bangalore like area, it has been prepared. Some region it has been practiced. So that is also to be avoided at any cost, which is very, very complication, which causes a very significant complication as such. So time of the food, what are the times? What we do is we take by means of time, morning, afternoon, night, 3 times a day, even though there is a hunger, doesn't matter as such. But here, what is to be done is we should take the food when there is a hunger. So how to promote the hunger is if you've been not having in hunger, what you can do is taking of a little ginger water at that time, take for gap for an half an hour, but initially, because at this moment we are all our agni, all our digestive power has been significantly hampered. So what we can try it up is before taking a food for about half an hour before, 1 glass of or half glass of ginger water can be consumed, and afterwards we can take the food so that it is promoting or it is a strengthening component for the fire, which is lower in nature. And we mostly take the food which has been preserved. That's unfortunate. So try to avoid the significant fridge items as a context. So the need of our use of and hunger is been very, very important. Bowels are being passed. See, the thing is the jirna ahara lakshana, that is the digested food expression is the person supposed to be getting an hunger. That is one component. The other component is before getting if, this is also one of the signs. The person has to be passed off the mala mutra tyag, that is mala, stool and urine to be passed off. That means if you've been taking the food for 3 times you're supposed to be passing the motion. Unfortunately, it is a fact actually. Unfortunately, we don't pass one time also. This is what the point to be noted as such. The pleasantness of the mind supposed to be there. Freshly prepared food are to be taken into account. Okay, so these are all the component commonly we are being taking. Uh, Definitely, it is not at all a part and parcel of life. If you've been taking, definitely it is going to contribute and very significant uh, contribution towards the ill health rather than health itself. That should not be done actually. So which type of food are we have been using is of an improper time? Obviously, the junk foods are being used, refrigerated items, stored and packed items, salads. So salads are also being not encouraged actually. The water. So we were surprised. Taking of and water is been causing a problem. Yes, it is true. We'll be going to next slide also. Caffeine, milk, and curd. Uh, so what type of food supposed to be taking? It is should be of an wholesome and too individual. It should be warm. should contain all the taste, obviously, the sweet, sour, salt, pungent, bitter, and astringent. See, if you're going to see the, I'm not telling that, it's a defined Brahmin community food materials. It starts from where? From in sweet in the morning time, sweet in the early part, there is some payasam as a context, ends up with the so-called buttermilk. With a, yeah, after the buttermilk also, you are being, and they will be taking a tambul. This is what the whole component, starting from in Madura at the level of an astringent taste. Astringent is nothing but the kashaya. Kashaya here refers to, if you're going to take the tea decoction, the congestion what you feel at the level of an throat, that is the property of an astringent. The tambula, which has been taken at the last part of an what's this, a food material, which contains a puga. Puga here refers to the aracanate, and that also causes the astringent taste. So this is what the combination, what I'm telling. And it was been there previously in this lifestyle, but unfortunately we forgot all this context. So the ginger, green gram, boiled vegetables, smashed grains, old grains, rice, wheat, barley, gooseberries, and pomegranates are being mostly can be taken throughout the year without any problem. So these the ginger and green gram and the honey as a context, but right honey as such. Shashtikam, that is nothing but this rice as in the 60 days. Within 60 days, the rice which is been came into an harvesting. So that can be used as a regular. Yes. So in the night time, obviously the night food, the time of an intake to be taken into an account, content is what we are taking. Light and it should be warm in nature. Avoidance of curd. So this is very, very important. Curd, nanaktam dadi unjita. So that is a statement telling that one should not take the dadi in the night time. Avoidance of curd. And if you take, if you've been taking, or if you want to take the curd, then there is some clause that is it can be taken with an amla powder. That is the rule actually. But nobody does this one. After the food, one should have a small walk, and yes, obviously the milk supposed to be avoided. Okay, so this is important. Obviously, the taking of water is an important asset. So drinking around half to 1 liter of water is been morning is very, very essential for health. Almost all the people and including doctor also accept this, but it is not true. One should not take half liter, 1 liter, 1.5 liters, 2 liters of water in the morning time, because see it has a rationality also. Shastra also tells that swasthanam chapi alpashaha. So that is swastha also should be taking a little quantity. Trushna is a vega. Trushna is a vega here refers to we feel thirst in a particular moment. That is what the context. We feel dryness of the mouth. We feel our urine being color being changed. So that is a signal that we have to take the water. Then only the person is supposed to be taking the water. If the person is getting a good amount of, due to season, good amount of sweating is been happening, there is no much, there's a scarcity of urine. So obviously the taking of water is been fine. But in every season, taking of around 1 liter, 1.5 liters, 2 liters, that particularly in the morning time is not to be done at any cost. That is why, because already we have around 70 to 80% of the water content in our body. And meanwhile, in the morning time, the fire is also been not that much stronger. So when there is when the fire is not that much stronger, you are putting a water on that one, it is going to get extinguished. So that is why lukewarm water in the Shastra also it is being mentioned ushapanam, that is morning time taking off in water, but not with this quantity what we have been practicing at this moment. Okay. So going further, so in the context, swapna is in sleep, early to bed to be taken into account. So this is about the universal sleep hygiene, what I'm telling over here. Sleeping clock at the bright light to be avoided. Oil application to the feet induces good sleep. So the people who have been having an issue with respect to good sleep, uh, they can do this activity. It gives a beautiful result. So taking just an oil and application on the feet is going to induce a right sleep. Why I'm telling this context is of, you may tell that, sir, I have been sleeping or we have been sleeping for about 7 to 8 hours. There is no issue. But if you've been getting a good amount of dreams, then definitely it is not a quality sleep. So getting of on and off on dreams is not a qualitative sleep. It may be a quantitative sleep, but it may not be a qualitative sleep. And believe me, around half an hour of a sleep on this day we're going to reduce the 33% of the working efficiency of the person on the next day. So it is very, very important to note the consideration of in sleep, where our brain is like an analog computer. And if you been go on using the computer, what happens is it may wreck, some software may not open up, or it may shut down in between. Similarly, the same rule applies for a brain also. So that is why the sleep is an important component with this, which applies for an what is a brain acid. Okay, okay. So whenever there is a time, one can have a small sleep, day sleep. So it has been applicable for a females or an housewives, but that is not true actually. So only in the Diva Sopana as day sleep is being told in the Grishma Rutu, that is in the sunny day, where the sun becomes stronger and the day becomes bigger, night will be smaller. So that is why you can have a sleep, as there is a good amount of deterioration of strength. So you can have a sleep in the afternoon time. Rather, it is not applicable for whole season itself. So don't do this context if you want to have a right health itself. Obviously, this is one of the important parcel of a death, which is being commonly practiced in metropolitan cities. It is an addiction. So I have seen so many people come with this part, because once he got addicted, it is not an easy task to which is an avoid. So always better idea not to be get addicted, particularly for the children or the students who have been listening. It is to curiosity you get attached and you're not going to leave. Okay, this is an glamoristics of a death, as it's been mentioned. What's this? This is Indian contribution for a death as okay, need of an action. Yes, obviously you're supposed to do this context. Harmful effects, I think you will be knowing as a scientist, science people background. Chronic bronchitis, sometimes in a pregnancy, yes, the retardation of the mental and physical development as such. And sometimes the cigar butts are being used, are being intoxicated by swallowing by the children accidentally, results in the presentation of an salivation and vomiting and the erythemas as such. So that is why, yes, the another member, obviously, the alcohol, which is having a very significant problem nowadays. I'm significantly worried about the addictions of other component also, because I counted so many patients what I've been seeing where the people are being addicted to different forms of them. Believe me, these things are going to deteriorate our whole life. So always a wise suggestion for you people not to give a try for these context. Yes, another member is this one. Uh, the another context which has been coming nowadays, yes, after the COVID-19 or after the COVID outbreak of COVID-19, we have been defined to limited to home itself. Yes, mobiles. So nowadays the mobile is one of the significant addiction which has been problematic in nature. It is only you can help for yourself. Nobody can help on that perspective. Always try to go through the digital well-being in an app, in a settings, which will give an idea in which app or in which social media you invested your time significantly in that time, in that 24 hours. So by that one, you can try yourself. Yes, I need to change over my mindset and not to give much importance to that context. So we cannot help, very frankly, we cannot help with respect to the mobile addictions. You only need to manage this part by evaluating yourself. Okay, sadvrutta, as it's been mentioned, vrutta, which is to be sad, which is to be proper in nature, that is good conduct, well behavior and helping nature. Obviously it is an everyone tells, and unfortunately it will be bookish in nature. Rather, we don't practice at the level of life. Control over the mind and body, yes, it is inevitable. It has been mentioned that in the Bhagavad Gita also, that is what is in the mind is like a pramati. Krishna tells this one, and how you can avoid, how you can control is of by means of an abhyasa, that is by means of regular practice. Vairagya, vairagya here refers to not giving much importance for that activity. If you've been doing this one, definitely you can control this one. So dhyana and pranayama as a context you will be knowing better than. So there are some myths which are being available, like the beer is and good for health. This is not true actually. The grapevine reduces the heart problems. No, it is not true. Drinking of an half liter to 1 liter of a morning time, that water is been essential for health. Definitely not. So morning intake of sprouted grains is very good for health. Definitely not. If you be anybody, most of people have been doing this one. I know that one. Don't do this context at any cost. From tomorrow only stop this activity. Another component is of not to take the cucumber salads just before the food. It's been clearly mentioned not to take the salads. Only advocated for the people who are being non-vegetarian. When they have taken the non-veg, you can use it, because non-veg content will not be having a fibrous content. To have a not to have a constipation, to get that fibrous content, you need to take this so-called salads, cucumber. But salads is the one which is going to cause the significant agni-mantya, that is hamperness of the agni itself. So intake of a lemon juice and the honey with an warm water in empty stomach reduces weight. It is not true actually. Don't ever take, if you have been family members also been taking this one, don't encourage them to take this part, because the amla rasa, that is sour taste by means of a lemon, if it is been used in the morning time, in long duration, you are going to give the money for your orthopedician. That is, it is going to cause the reduce the density of the bone. And what is an the honey should not be warm. So should not warm and should not be mixed with that warm water. It is also it becomes toxic actually. Always day sleep can be done in it will not be change the harmony of health. Natural, just like stool hunger, can be suppressed, not to be done at any cost. So working hard definitely at the level of gym is not true. Rather, doing often the regular form of an exercise, as I told earlier, walking and a brisk walk and what is Surya Namaskara will holds true, right? So almost at the level of session, these are all some slides which is being an inspirational. You get at the Google. What it's been relevant, I just borrowed over here. So no one can go back and change the bad beginning. That's very true. But one can start now and create a successful ending. So this is what the thing we have to do at this moment. And yeah, the another statement goes like this: as exercise to be fit, not to skinny. See, this not skinny as such. So most of the people work out to becomes very lean, not to be tried with respect to that one. To be fit, you have to do an exercise. Eat to nourish your body. You have to nourish rather than overload. Don't go with the tongue. I know that controlling over the tongue is not an easy task, but it is not impossible. And always ignore the haters and the doubters and unhealthy examples that were once feeding you. You should be ignoring that one. Yes, this statement is very, very important. You are worth more than you realize. So you are worth more than that. So what you have been feeling, it is more than that. And yes, this is the statement to be taken into an account. Take care of the body. It is only place you have to live it. Like a home, it is just for a moment. You are living in this body. So that is why you have to take care of your body. No one can help you in this perspective. Only you can help by means of right diet and the activities. Time and health are two precious assets that we don't recognize and appreciate until they have been depleted. So once we don't feel this expression until unless the time has gone off and until unless the health being deteriorated. So we don't know the preciousness of that one. So before that, I'm telling you people, adopt the proper lifestyle so that you will be healthy. Limiting, I'm not telling that you cannot live without medicine. Definitely, life has been completely changed out now. But at least you can avoid or you can limit yourself in due course of time with a limited medicine so that you can live gracefully or happily and die gracefully. Okay, you don't need to be perfect. Just be a better than you were yesterday. This is very, very important. Better than yesterday. Today, if I've been better, yes, that is a great deal for me, and I supposed to be doing that context. Yeah, success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. So everyday activities matters a lot. Hope you will be doing these small efforts in day by day, so that you will be adding on the benefits of that one in due course of time. It will be contributing for the proper health. Yes, slow progresses is better than no progress. Slowly progress up. Slowly do some activities which has been worth for it. Listen to your gut, which is it will give an, you see, the thing is, if you've been going to take in some pani puri on that day, you will be, while you've been taking, you're feeling good, but on that day you'll be feeling very discomfort at the level of gut. You will be knowing that is clear cut idea that it is not good for your gut. It is not good for your health. If it is not good for a gut, definitely it is not good for a health also. That is what the context. And with this I just conclude. Thank you for the organizers for providing an opportunity for share my small thoughts over here, and hope this session been useful for you people. And if you're going to adopt this context, my life will be over, because an information what it's been shared, if it's been used properly by the people, then definitely yes, it is an you have given an respect for my time, and you adopt it. That's it, right? Thank you.
Thank you a lot, sir.
Okay, sir. Hope the things are been fine as such.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
Yeah.
today I have given a wonderful talk on life is precious. ಜೀವನ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರಮುಖವಾದದ್ದು, ಬಹುಮುಖ್ಯ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇಂದಿನ ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಯುರ್ವೇದದ ಮೂಲಕ ತಾವು ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಂತ ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ, ಇಂದಿನ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಬಹು ಸರಳವಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತು ಸುಲಲಿತವಾಗಿ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮತ್ತು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಎರಡೂ ಭಾಷೆಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ತಾವು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ನಮಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಹೃದಯದ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಸರ್.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ತಮಗೆ ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶಕರಾಗಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಯೋಜನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರಮಿಸುತ್ತಿರುವ ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಕಾರ್ಯನಿರ್ವಹಣಾಧಿಕಾರಿಯಾದಂತಹ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಎಂ ರಮೇಶ್ ಸರ್ಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಸರ್. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರಾದಂತಹ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಅಯ್ಯಪ್ಪನ್ ಸರ್ ಅವರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ತಿಳಿಸುತ್ತಾ, ನನ್ನ ಸಹೋದ್ಯೋಗಿ ಮಿತ್ರರು ಹಾಗೂ ನೆರೆದಿದ್ದ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೂ ಮತ್ತು ನನ್ನ ವೆಬೆಕ್ಸ್ ವೃಂದದ ಸಹೋದ್ಯೋಗಿಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ತಿಳಿಸುತ್ತಾ, ಇಂದಿನ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಮಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳ ಪ್ರಮುಖವಾಗಿ ಆಯುರ್ವೇದದ ಮೂಲಕ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಅಳವಡಿಸ್ಕೋಬಹುದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಭಾರಿ ಪ್ರಮುಖವಾಗಿ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಂತ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್ ಅಡಿಗ ಸರ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಹೇಳುತ್ತಾ, ನಾಳಿನ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ರವರು ಬಯೋ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸ ನೀಡಲಿದ್ದು, ಇದೇ ರೀತಿ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ನಾಳಿನ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಬೇಕೆಂದು ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ವಿನಂತಿಸುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್. ಸರ್, ಏನಾದ್ರು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳಿದ್ರೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಶೇರ್ ಮೀ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್.
ಸೊ ಟುಡೇಸ್ ನೋ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್, ಬಟ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಇಮೇಲ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ತಮಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸಿ
ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಸರ್, ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಮೈ ಪ್ಲೆಜರ್.
ಕಳಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್.
ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ.
ಓಕೆ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು, ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.